Hey guys, welcome back to another video. This is going to be a little different. It's going to be the top 20 comic book films, superhero comic book films. Now remember guys, this is just my opinion, so if you disagree, don't get on my case about it. It's just an opinion, personal opinion. Feel free to post your list of top 10 or 20 in the comments if you so wish. But let's just get started. First, at number 20, we have X-Men First Class, which is the X-Men prequel, which I thought was a great return to form from the X-Men franchise. Great actors, great characters. Just, James McAvoy, Michael Fassbender, or whatever he's called. Just everyone really fantastic. Aside from a few inconsistencies with the kind of X franchise regarding some flashbacks, I really adored X-Men First Class and thought it was a superb film after the atrocious X-Men Last Stand and X-Men Origins Wolverine. Then in at number 90 we have Superman the movie. This is the only Superman movie on here. The best Superman movie still to this day. Arguably, if Superman 2 had been directed by Richard Donner, and we could have seen a proper Superman 2 by him, then that would have been the best one. I think the Richard Donner cut is an interesting idea, and ultimately, I think I would have liked that one better, but this one is the best. It's just great. I don't really like Lex Luthor in it, but aside from that, Chris Reeve is the ultimate Superman. Margot Kidder, fantastic as Lois Lane. Just a very, campy but a good film. Then at number 18 we have Batman Under the Red Hood. This is an animated film from last year, just a superb adaptation of the story. I've not actually read Under the Hood yet, but I will get on that. Some great voice acting, especially Jensen Ackles. Just a really good story. Wasn't afraid to go to some dark places. Just a really cool animation. Just a great story, and I liked it a lot. Thought it was a really good film. Then at number 17 we have Batman Returns. This is the Tim Burton sequel, the last Tim Burton Batman. A great film, though arguably focuses a little too much on the villains and sort of loses focus on Batman. That being said, it is a very cool film. I do like it a lot. Really stylistic, very gothic, very Tim Burton-y. Much more Tim Burton-y, I think, than the first one. And really has this great music, great kind of quirky feel. And, Michelle Pfeiffer as Catwoman is just sexy as hell. So, that's Batman Returns. Then, at number 16, we have Iron Man, the first one. This is the kind of first foray into what would be a continuing Marvel universe that takes place in the same continuity. Just a great introduction to the character. Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark. Well, he is Tony Stark. He's awesome. Jeff Bridges, him and Downey Jr. and Gwyneth Paltrow have fantastic chemistry. Just a great action, great story, great origin and introduction into the world of Iron Man. Jon Favreau just did a really good job on this one. Then at number 15 we have the first X-Men. This is again the same kind of idea as Iron Man. This one was really the beginning of the comic book movie obsession Hollywood has today, which I don't have a problem with, to be honest. It's a fantastic film. It's a great introduction to get into the world. Great comedy. Some not hugely massive. Doesn't have a massive budget, but they work with what they got, and it's a really good film. Great characters, great story to be told, and really, opens up this universe that can just arguably go on for forever, essentially. So that's X-Men, the first one. And then at number 14, you have the first Spider-Man, which back in the day when I was 12, 13 would have been probably number 1. But, since then, not so much. It's a great film. It's a great, again, introduction to the world, into the character of Spider-Man. Getting to see him on the big screen swing around. There was a certain thrill about it, back in 2002, at least for me as a 12-year-old. Just loved the kind of the budding romance between Peter Parker and Mary Jane, and Willem Dafoe was really, I think, really playing a great Green Goblin, even if the suit looked a little goofy. And I just think they pretty much hit all the marks of a good introduction origin story. And then at 13 you have Blade 2, which is a really good sequel. Just, nicely expands on the universe and doesn't pussy out like Blade Trinity. And it's just, it kind of expands on the world of the vampires and is more gothic. And it's kind of, doing the old traditional thing of teaming up with your enemies. And, Wesley Snipes is cool as hell in these first two movies. Then, at number 12, we have the first Batman. A fantastic movie. Just the best of the 90s Batmans. I love it. It's stylistic as hell. I haven't watched it in a long time, but I do really like it. And, Jack Nicholson is playing a great comedic Joker. Then number 11, you have Watchmen, which is the graphic novel's better. I'll be the first to say it. But it's a great film. It's the best you can get as far as an adaptation of Watchmen goes. It works better on page, but it's Jackie L. Jolly, the guy playing Rorschach is just absolutely superb. Dr. Manhattan is great and sort of really well done on the screen, a comedian. And, some of the changes they made, like the kind of ending, it's just, I think it works for the big screen. And the comedian, played by Jeffrey Dean Morgan, is awesome. Then, at number 10, we're getting into the top 10, is Batman Mask of the Phantasm. Fucking fantastic animated movie. Great story. Mark Hamill, Kevin Conroy, brilliant voice actors. Just a really cool new villain. Just really gets into the origins of Bruce and his life before Batman and how he became Batman. Because it's just really interesting, because you never really got that in the TV series, the animated series, so it's really great to see it in this movie, and it's a lot darker than the movie and a bit more adult. Then at number 9 we have Iron Man 2, which is just, I think it's an awesome film. There's a lot of balls up in the air, but it juggles them all well. Robert Downey Jr., like I said, is fantastic. I think the chemistry is even better in this second one. It's bigger, it's badder, and it's leading up to the Avengers. ScarJo as Black Widow is hot. Sam Jackson as Nick Fury is badass. And Mickey Rourke, though doesn't get enough to do in the film, is still awesome as Whiplash. And I just think it's a great, fun time. Then at number 8 you have The First Blade, which is my favourite Blade film. Absolutely adore it. Just think it's so badass, so awesome. Just the opening scene is just so fucking cool. And I think the end fight sequence isn't as, you just can't top the opening, so the end fight sequence is maybe a slight letdown, but it's a great story. And arguably, again, sort of similar to X-Men in that it was the beginnings of the seeds, I suppose, of the X-Men, I'm sorry, not the X-Men, the superhero phenomena that we're in at this point, with about 3 superhero films a year, to say the least. Then, after Blade, we have Captain America, the First Avenger, which I just saw today on the 2nd of August, and I thought it was fucking just a great time in the movies. Chris Evans was brilliant as Captain America. A great love interest, really fun action, great kind of nods to the other Marvel universe, and just had a ball of a time watching it. Just thought it was a really cool to see a superhero period film, and it wasn't like a traditional superhero film in that he didn't feel like a superhero so much as like kind of sort of, but almost in the sense that he was being used as a weapon for the war. So that's Captain America, the First Avenger. And then number 6 you have Batman Begins, which is really Bruce's story. His kind of how he becomes Batman, and his sort of why Gotham needs saving, essentially. And sort of the introduction of Batman, I suppose, in this kind of more realistic, grounded world. And I just think it's, some people say that there's, I suppose, not enough Batman, too much Begins, but I think that's what makes the movie work so well, is that it really takes the time to dig deep into Bruce's story and see why he would dress up as a bat. So that's Batman Begins. And then number 5 you have X-Men 2, which is just an awesome sequel. It expands on the universes, brings in some new characters, but doesn't overfill it and balances it all well. Nightcrawler's great. Storm loses her accent for some reason, no biggie I guess. Again, Cyclops underused, he kind of disappears for a bit of the film, kind of leading into the third one with the Phoenix stuff, which could have potentially been awesome but was ruined by Brett Ratner. And just sort of, again the same thing as kind of Blade 2, instead of like having to work with your enemies to team up to one sort of larger enemy, and brings a lot of history in with Wolverine, which is super cool. So that's X-Men 2. And then number 4 you have Hellboy 2, The Golden Army, which is just awesome. I love it. Again, it does the great thing of what sequels need to do, is it expands on the universe while still staying true to it. It's got sort of flavours of Pan's Labyrinth in there, and you get a new character voiced by Seth MacFarlane, who's brilliant, and it just goes for some more wacky comedy, like Hellboy and Abe Sapien getting drunk and started singing some love song, and it's just brilliant and it works so well. And it's just an awesome film and also some great action scenes, and it just expands on the characters in the universe really well. So that's Hellboy 2, The Golden Army. And then at number 3 you have Kick-Ass, which is just fucking awesome. Just really, just a great time watching it. Hit Girl is amazing. A nice kind of more realistic take on the superhero genre. Not so fantasy, more grounded. And Nick Cage doing a kind of a great tribute to Adam West. It's just such a great time, and really has some of the most amazing action scenes I've seen in, I think, any superhero film. So that's Kick-Ass. And then number 2, you knew it was coming, you thought, where's it going to be? It's number 2. It's The Dark Knight. A fantastic film. Again, like I said, as all sequels should do, expands on the universe, makes the world bigger, makes the characters better, and this one's really the story of does Gotham need Batman anymore? Should Gotham have to need Batman when they can have someone who's a real White Knight, which is, of course, the Aaron Eckhart character, Harvey Dent. It's just a fantastic story about how, and of course the Joker comes in to corrupt things and prove that, I suppose, in a sense, we all are evil. And then Batman sacrifices himself. It's just a brilliant film, so well done. Chris Nolan, you fucking legend, can't wait for The Dark Knight Rises. And then at number 1, what's number 1? Drum roll please. It's Spider-Man 2. Yes, I know, perhaps a little obvious, but I just adore it. I think it's absolutely brilliant. I love Doc Ock. The fight scenes are more dynamic. The story is bigger and grander. The romance is more passionate. I know it sounds cheesy, but I think it is, and I think it's a brilliant film. And there's more flavours of Sam Raimi in there. Spider-Man 1's a little more Hollywoody, but Spider-Man 2, I think, is really just like, if you've seen Evil Dead and you like Sam Raimi in that form, then Spider-Man 2 has so many flavours of that kind of directing style of his, which is just awesome. And like I said, fight scenes are awesome. Jeff Winger from Community's in it. It's just a great movie, and it's a shame that the studio ruined Spider-Man 3. I'm intrigued by the reboot Amazing Spider-Man, but Spider-Man 2 has yet to be toppled as my favourite superhero film of all time. I absolutely adore it and think it has everything I want from a superhero movie. So that's my top 20 superhero films. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope I didn't rant too much. Okay, bye.
Subscribe, motherfuckers. Yeah, bitches.